What's up Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to give you a full update on the rear wheel drive build. As many of you know that have a project car or working with cars or doing engine builds or whatever, you know it's a roller coaster all the time. Sometimes you are at the bottom and you don't want to see the car, and sometimes you are at the top and things are going very well. And I think it has been like almost 2 months since I did an update on the car, and I have got some work done, so to speak. So I'm gonna take you through what has been done and a little bit on what's left to do. So first off, I just want to say that I have been cleaning a little bit in the garage. For some people this is still messy, for me this is pretty decent. I have got so much stuff to the junkyard. You can see the bench is now a workbench again, you can see stuff, and we are going to go through some of the stuff that we have right here. The rear axle is complete. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you will see that I have posted some pictures of this, and now it's actually completed and fully installed with everything that should be attached to it, like the OEM anti-roll bar that I was able to fit just above the differential, and it could move up and down. Painted it orange just to have some color that will break out from the regular. The 300mm brake disc that sits on the newer OG9-5 Aeros. And I have also installed the OEM handbrake, which is a big win in my book. This is something that I've been a little bit curious about earlier, if it would work or not. So here you can see it's the OEM Saab handbrake pads, or what you call them, installed together with everything, so it will work as it should, like the OEM handbrake. And this is a huge win, because then I don't have to build any extra or special installments. So we will just reuse the regular handbrake and it will still have the Saab look inside of the car, which I said is a big win. So the top control arm in the rear are from the Saab prototypes. You know that I have been talking about them earlier. Saab built 2 XWDs, 4-wheel drive, or prepared for 4-wheel drive, OG9-5s back in the days. But the project was stopped by GM because they were developing the Opel or the Vauxhall Insignia at the same time. So Saab was not able to continue with the project, so the cars were scrapped and some of the parts were saved. So these are prototypes from that car, and the lower arms is also adjustable. So you will see that the drive shaft for the rear has plenty of clearance in between. The only thing that when the upper control arm is straight, we need to make a little bit more space up in here, so it has some space to bounce up and down. I think it will be good as it is right now, but some extra clearance is never a bad thing, and it's easier to do it now while we have everything off. So the goal in today's video, after I have showed you what has been done, is to install this, to have it fully installed on the car. Would be really nice, so I can get it off the floor. From the last video I have installed the big 340mm brakes that will be installed with this 2-piston caliper brake, and the caliper carriers are currently being modified by P.A. Johansson, and he is also rebuilding a cylinder head for me. So that is almost done right now, and the cool thing about that cylinder head is the work that he has put down in it, and it's currently at troll speed in Trollhättan. And troll speed, if you know the history, they have built the engines for Per Eklund's Pikes Peak 9.3, the monster engine that produced like 850 horsepower. So it's just too cool to have them on the build, that they have had the hands on it. Of course, this is mostly my build, but it's cool to have them in cooperation with all of this, because this will be, like, for me at least, the first and only like road legal OG9-5 rear wheel drive with still a Saab heart, still a Saab like rear subframe. So this will be really cool. You can see that I have installed the coilovers from Max Speeding rods, just modified the lower bolt pattern a little bit, and I will running these with the drop links are from Maptunparts. I think the company is called Mail or something like that. And here you can see the difference. These are so sturdy compared to the stock one. So this will be a really nice upgrade with these ones. And one of the problems with the front, I know the drop links is easy, so they sit on the opposite side that they normally do. And this is what I have come up with. You can see that I have installed the steering rack down here with an adapter up to the spindle right here, and the disc will spin freely, no problem, but it sticks down quite a bit, and it has to do it because of bump steering. So the steering rack, or what you call it, should be level with the control arm in the front, and it isn't perfect, but it's very close. And you can't make this as long as you wish, because it will lose like the sturdiness at some point. So this piece of metal here is 30mm thick, and it's threaded all the way through, and down here it's a cone, so it's like a press fit against the steering rack, so it sits really sturdy, it won't go anywhere. And I will attach it with a 12.9 bolt that will thread through and meet up right down here, so it will be a really sturdy construction, even though it looks a little bit halfway sketchy. I have seen a few others doing very similar solutions to this problem, and here you can see it a little bit installed. It will be pretty tight up against the engine, so I have modified one of the holes underneath as well. And this is my custom made anti-roll bar right here. So it's a solid steel 25mm. The stock Aero is 20mm, now it's 25, and together with the massive drop links, I think this will be real sturdy. So this will sit in front of the steering rack. And this is 5mm steel that I have used right here. Bent it. I made a cut on the outside or the inside to be able to bend it so it has the correct angle. Then I welded it on the inside. It's not cut all the way through, just a little on the inside, so I can lay down a nice bead of weld inside to make it really stiff and strong. And I might even do like a 5mm like a reinforcement on the inside so it will sit, but this is really solid made, so it's not piped or anything, it's just a full steel bar, so this will be really solid. And to be able to run this steering rack, and as it sits so close to the engine, I had to make my own oil pan, which I have done right here. This is what it looks like. It's like a spaceship, and this pipe that go straight over the block had to be modified a little bit as well, so it's a little bit shorter on this side to be able to fit. I have not measured the volume of this just yet, but this pipe will sit something like this inside of the block, and it's really tricky to get everything to fit. And the oil pickup is also fully welded but still detachable. So underneath right here I will just remove this. This is the OEM splash guard or whatever you call it that I have been reusing, and this is also the oil pickup, and it sits at the same level as it does stock, and then it's attached with bolts right here, so this sits flat with the flange. And when installing this I will use some sealant around this hole so the oil pump gets perfect, like sucking from the oil pickup. So I'm just very quickly just gonna remove this so you will see how the baffles look, and my idea to keep like oil in here all the time. So here you can see the holes where it baffles, so the oil can't just come and go as it wishes. It will be some resistance, so for most of the time when you're drifting and do stuff like that, you will have oil in these baffles at the side, and the splash guard will keep the oil inside of the lower part. And it's a rear sump build, so this is the front of the engine. So during acceleration, when you need the oil the most, it will be here and it will be present all the time. And the extra baffles on the side will create some more volume. So the stock volume is like 4.5 liters, I think. I'm pretty sure that I will be able to fit a little bit more inside of this, and it will also be easy to clean. Just detach the screws and lift it up. So I'm pretty pleased with this construction and manufacturing. The only thing that I did wrong during this was that I mocked it up to an engine block, then I removed it and I laid it out on the floor, made all the cuts of all the steel. This is hand cut with an angle grinder, but I think it turned out quite good, and all the holes and everything is drilled manually. But anyways, I think it turned out pretty good, but I fully welded it just straight on the floor, so the flange warped a little bit, so I had to make cuts in the flange, bolt it down to a block that I have right here, and then weld it in some spots again, let it cool down, and that was it. So this is pretty much done. I'm just gonna, just for pure curiosity, I just want to see how much oil will I be able to fit inside of this, so that would be something to try out pretty soon. What else do we have? So now the rear subframe we have gone through, the oil pan, the steering rack, and the steering rack is also connected right now. You can see the rod from the steering wheel up here, and it's connected down here. It's pretty tight fit, but it sits inside of here. And as I said in the last video, you had to make a custom like oil removable bracket. So I think this will be a pretty good solution. We will see. I might even change this because I know there is another solution available, so that might be an option, but we will try to run it like this as it is right now. And what else do we have connected to here? That is pretty much it, but as of right now it's connected to the steering wheel. The only thing that we need to do, since it's connected in a few different spots, it doesn't sit sturdy right now, so we need to have like a bearing to hold it in, and that's what I have right here. So the steering wheel or the steering bearing, I don't know what I'm saying right now, but like the rod from the steering wheel will pass through here, and this will just hold it still and make sure it doesn't wobble around. So we get an accurate and good steering, and this is really sturdy. This is made for like prop shaft, but this will work just perfect for the steering wheel. And here we have the brakes for the rear, the 300mm brakes. So these are going to get a little refreshed, just grind them off, freshen them up with some new paint, install the brake pads, and then they will go on to the car. And one of the bigger updates that I have done is I have installed the turbo. As you can see, I made my own, this is my first own exhaust manifold, and I'm so happy on how it turned out. At the first point I was so determined that the collector should be standing up, as it is on most top mount exhaust manifolds. But after doing the first mock-up and I just tacked in some of the pipes, I understood quite soon that that would be no good. And I also talked to my good friend Joel, and he suggested that you should move the turbo forward. Don't care so much about the light and everything. You can always make like a pretty sharp intake, or you can run a net on the turbo. You necessarily don't have to have like an air filter. So this was the solution that we came up with. I did a quick paint or drawing in paint of the piping, how it should go, and I sent it to Joel, and he said I fully approve that drawing. It looks like it's going to be equal length on all of the like piping or runners. And when I wrapped this, it turned out that it's only one pipe that's slightly shorter. The other ones are like pretty much equal length. it doesn't matter too much on a turbo car. If this would be an NA car, it's highly important that they are equal. But now it's not too important, but it turned out to be equal either way. And there are so much stuff that are going to sit on side of the head and the block right here. So it looks like it's very spacious right now, but there will be add-ons on a few other things right here. And I've also got, so the turbo we could start with is a Pulsar G25 660. So it should be able to produce around 660 horsepower with a really nice register. So I'm very excited to see what this turbo can do. And with the placement that we got right here, I will be able to shoot down a really nice downpipe that will shoot straight through and go just beside the steering rod for the steering, of course, and the gearbox. So the camera can't really focus, but you know what I mean. And one other thing that's highly important for how the car will perform is the wastegate. Since this turbo doesn't have an internal wastegate, and it's my first time running an external wastegate, I decided to go with a quality wastegate so I don't have issues with it later on. Because boost is very crucial for how the car will perform. So EX44 GFB. If you follow like Mighty Car Mods, you would have seen this brand quite a bit. It's from Australia, and I think they make really high quality stuff. So I got this installed to the best of my abilities, and I think it came out really good as well. So this will be rerouting into the downpipe again. So we will take care of the exhaust gases, and I just think it looks badass as it is. And this was one of the goals with having a rear wheel drive build. You want to have like a massive turbo setup that is top mounted, so you can like see it very pronounced inside of the engine bay. Now this isn't a particular big turbo, but the placement of the turbo and the ease, because it has a V-band clamp installment, so I can just choose another one if I want to go more power in the future, like if I want to go a G30 or G35 turbo. It will fit just bolt on. It will be like, yeah, undo the V-band clamp, install the turbo. Since we still have the external wastegate and everything, and here we will route the piping that will go down to the intercooler that we are going to be installing right here. That is something that I have. I don't have it in the garage right now, but it's the biggest universal intercooler that I could get from the 088. So it's like a 4-inch intercooler with 3-inch flanges on the side. And this wastegate is also from the 088. So they supply all the GFB stuff, or most of them, in Sweden. So really happy and really excited about this part of the build right here. So what's left to get right now, besides all the work that has to be done, is parts for the fueling system. I got the fuel pump. I need to have another fuel rail, I think. This is the OG9-5 fuel rail that's still attached. Here I have the 9000 fuel rail that I might be able to reuse, but we will see. I have not decided fully yet. And I got the strut brace from Maptun. You can see the brand new Maptun logo right here. Looks really fresh. And one of the cool things is, if you look at the A on the new Maptun logo, you sort of could see it on the rear subframe right here. It wasn't meant to be, but so it's almost like you have an A right here. That's very similar to the Maptun logo. So that's really cool. And I have also installed and modified the coilovers for the rear. So here you can see a comparison. Here we have the modified max speeding rods coilover. I got the new console from Maptunparts that I have modified. So it's fully welded to the top right here, so I can reuse the top mount from max speeding rods. And then I have reinforced it in the top so it sits really sturdy, and you will be able to adjust the stiffness of the dampener. So this is with the coilover at the lowest setting compared to a stock Aero strut. And here we have it installed, and this is on the longest setting that I could have. So there will be quite some adjustability, and that's really nice. But I think I will run the car as low as possible without anything touching. Now it's getting so much talking to this video, but I just want to say as well, my general plan for this was to use the 17-inch OEM Aero wheels, and they fit over the brakes. It's really tight, but they fit with 17-inch wheels. But with this solution right here, this sticks out too much. So right now I need to run 19-inch wheels in the front to be able to have this solution. But I guess it's not the biggest of problems. So right now I'm looking for a nice set of 19-inch BBS wheels. So if any of you have any for a good price, let me know. One more thing that I forgot. This is the OEM thermostat housing. And OEM, it sits facing towards the firewall. And that's not the way I want it to be routed when we are doing a rear wheel drive build. I want it to face outwards so I can route it to the front. So I have got from a friend a really nice piece right here. So this will be adapted so it will sit like this. So the connection will not be facing the firewall anymore, but it will go straight out, and then I can route it to the front. Very, very nice machining. So the only thing that I need to do is make like a bracket around it so I will be able to bolt it down, but that will not be a big job or a big issue. So this is reality. It's now 4 hours later since I last turned off the camera, and you should think that you should be done by now. Think again. So this is what it looks like right now. This is with the car fully jacked up at its maximum height. So here is where things come to an end. I did some work. I made a cutout in the frame so that the top control arm could flex up or bounce up and down. This one right here. So I made a cutout in the frame, and this is as high as it goes. since it's straight, the original upper control arm is bent down so it can go up and down more. It looks really good, but yeah, everything needs to come down once again, because this side got really good, and when we go around to the other side, we have some more stuff right here. You can not see too good right here, but if we can get a little bit of focus, either way, the arm should be able to flex up and down, but I have not cut the hole wide enough so it's up against the edge of the wall, or what you should call it, the frame. So I welded in new plates here on each side to strengthen up the frame of the car. But yeah, everything needs to come down once again. And this is like one of the reasons that this project takes so much time to do. Everything, all the steps around this car is custom, so you really have to like do it once, check it out, what is the result of this change that I have done, and then go again and again and again. So a lot of this work that you see with stuff mounted, the engine mounted, everything, is things that I have done several times to get it right. It's so complicated, I don't think you would believe, because when I talk about stuff, it seems kind of straightforward. You should just do this and do that, and this will turn out this way, but the reality is something else. So quite a hard project to do, but I'm positive right now. So just gotta keep pushing, off with everything, down with it again, redo it. But the most important thing is, now that I have it up and I have checked where it's hitting, it's really important to mark it up, so next time it will be perfect, so you don't have to do it like 3 times. Because this is one of the factors. When something gets wrong, you really want to fix it quick. And when you do a quick fix, usually you have to do it once again. So just stay calm, take your time, do it again, and do it right. So that's it for this video. A lot of talking, but at least you got a video update of the progress of this build. And as I said, I'm really positive about the progress so far. And very soon my vacation will start. Then I will be able to put down some more hours, and hopefully I got the last parts for the car. Because I'm so excited to just do a touchdown, put the car down on the ground, and also hook up everything up to the engine and do a first startup. That is something that I'm looking forward to very much. But even though everything is hooked up, you should just suspect that everything isn't correct, so it's always a little bit of adjustments. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel, it means a lot to me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!